Are you a deviant? You know, like those of us who binge watch serial killer programs, laugh at the stupid shit people do, and revel in anything adult? Well, you found your people. Join us as we crack open the door to the padded cell and release the insanely stupid, the weirdly wonderful, and those who choose to live outside societal norms. We'll delve into the strange, the macabre, the sexy, and the outrageous. So, if you're a deviant, then you have your place with us in the padded cell. Hello and welcome to episode 59 of the Padded Cell podcast. I'm Velma.
I'm Scoob. I'm Shaggy.
Scooby Doo! Jinkies, it's all gone mad here.
It's kind of a strange.
We haven't even started.
And it's just very discombobulating that I can just see myself in the TV over there with bright red hair. It's just not right. Hair at all, any hair.
Yeah, I know.
It's really hot. It's bothering me. But anyway, it's all for a good cause. It's for our special Halloween episode. I'm just going to be flicking this all the time, aren't I?
Yeah.
And we're not going to be doing like the traditional, ghost story thing and all that. Well, I'm not. I don't know whether you've got anything to pipe in with, but I haven't. We're not doing traditional ghost stories and stuff like that. You've just looked at Ryder to say, shit, was I supposed to do something?
I'm just here for the snacks.
Scooby snacks.
Chocolate, yeah.
So we've got a pile of Scooby snacks on the desk there. I've got my own pile unopened up to now, and I'm sure by the end of it you just rob mine and eat them as well, don't you? So yes, we have got a Scooby Doo theme going on because we've got a little plan with that later. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. It's a secret. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Yeah. There's a song years ago. It's a mystery. Who sang that? Toya.
Ah, yeah, Toya. Yeah.
Was it Toya? Shit, Jimmy will kill me if I've got that wrong.
Toya is.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, Toya was boss.
She
had
It's a
like
mystery.
fiery red hair.
But yeah, fine.
Wait, you've got
What have you got hanging? Oh, a bit of hair.
Remnants
a bit
of
hair.
costume.
Anyway. Welcome to everybody watching over on YouTube, and we've got a few people watching live on Facebook. Now, we haven't got as many on Facebook because of what I've just said before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it now. Why not? Facebook have restricted us. I'm just going to turn Facebook round, actually, just so you can see that we've got Scooby and Shaggy in the background.
Zoinks.
And obviously me, Velma.
How many times are you going to say that?
So I'm going to say it now. Facebook's restricted our account. And they haven't restricted our account because of all the time to say cunt, fuck, bastard, twat.
Vagina.
The amount of time we talk about sex, the dildos that are always on the desk,
Anal.
all the
toys.
filth that we come out with on a pretty much day-to-day basis. No, we haven't been restricted for any of that. We've been restricted because somebody said, I love your new T-shirt, which is our new merch, and one of my pictures. And I went, oh, glad you like it. Here's our website to go and have a little look.
Bang.
And Facebook said that I was spamming people and directing people away from a site that wasn't linked to our Facebook page. I'm like, the Facebook page is called The Padded Cell, and the website's The Padded Cell Podcast. So anyway, www.thepaddedcellpodcast.co.uk.
Just to get it in there.
Just to get it in there, yeah. And they fucking kicked us off for that.
Yeah.
So of appeals, but the AI just going to go, So what I need you all to do on Facebook is when you see posts, share them for us, please, because Facebook are not exposing us the way they used to. Exposing us.
We do a
You
good
just
job
expose
exposing
yourself.
ourselves.
Yeah. And obviously we have the same on Instagram. That's never changed. Instagram has still restricted us. So if you ever see us on social media, any of our reels and posts and stuff, I'd really appreciate it if you shared it, because nobody wants to share our love over on Facebook and Instagram now, behind the scenes, because we're just too rude. We're too rude.
Prudes.
Virgins.
So today is
Master
the 28th of
virgin,
October. I've got a few more people on Facebook. Hello. Somebody said I'm in Facebook jail. Yeah, too fucking right. I'm going to break out there. They don't know me. So it's the 28th of October today, and it is our Halloween episode because it actually goes out to everybody else who isn't watching live on Thursday, which is the 31st, Halloween itself.
Halloween.
So you've got any plan for Halloween?
No, not yet.
Haven't you? You?
No.
Trick or treating with the kids.
With the kids.
Yeah.
Satan doesn't like trick or treating.
Doesn't he?
No.
I wasn't a fan. I mean, when I was little, we didn't really do it. But then when my cousin grew up, I went round with her and I was like, just going around, asking for sweets off strangers. It could happen, really, couldn't it? It could go wrong.
Mrs. G stays in the house and does all the sweets for the kids. I go out with the kids when our little lad gets too overwhelmed, drop him back off at ours, and then he gives the sweets out. He loves doing that.
I remember one year going round, and it was actually with my cousin. It was only about 3 or 4, 10 years between us. And I had to dress up because I was going with her. My auntie said I had to. What you do? And it was back in the day when I was a bit of a punk and stuff. And I went to fancy dress parties. I went as punk. But I thought I could adapt my punk costume for like a Halloween costume. So I was a witch. And it was a bin bag. Just put a bin bag. Made a hole. And I got another bin bag and like sort of ruched it round my neck as like a little bit of a cape thing. And just got one of the really shit green cardboard hats on. I was a
That
great
was
witch.
like every Halloween for me as a kid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bin bag, Poundland, witch's fingers,
Yeah, exactly. I'm
And
shocking it.
nose.
It's not what you wear, it's how you wear it, Nance. Isn't it?
I haven't changed.
No, you haven't. Anyway,
Wait,
so
that's a
happy
pastiche.
Halloween to those who are watching actually on
Same.
Halloween. For those who are watching now, happy Halloween in advance. And I know we've got loads of pagan and Wicca people watching us, so happy Samhain to all of you guys and girls out there. I hope the new cycle treats you well. So, 28th of October is Bill Gates' birthday.
He's
You know
right,
Bill
Bill.
I just heard this on the radio.
Have you? You know Bill, don't you?
Yeah, I know Bill, yeah.
Founder and CEO of Microsoft, richest
Bill.
man in the world. Actually, richest person in the world, not
Yeah.
just the richest man, richest person in the world. And do you imagine what it'd be like to just have a card, your bank card, and go, do you know what? I like that car. I'm just going to go and buy that.
I like that building.
Yeah.
I'll buy
Or
that.
even not even that. You know, you go into a posh department store and you see like a nice frock or a suit, and it's like £1,000 or something, you know, like a dead posh
Marks
one.
and Spencer's posh for me.
Is it? And you're like, I can't really afford that. But imagine if you just had a car, you're just like, yeah, I want that. I'm just going to get it. And you
Yeah.
haven't even got to think about, is it going to make me overdrawn?
I'm not sure on the size. I'll get to.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
I can always take one back, and then you forget because you're that rich, you don't need the money back. So
No,
just
you
sit in your
get someone
wardrobe
to
forever.
take it back for you,
Would
wouldn't
you
you?
though?
Treat
Would you?
Mrs. G to some milk rolls.
you
Yeah,
like milk?
Japanese
Get
milk.
2 packets, love.
Japanese milk buns.
Is that as far as you would push it? If you had loads of money, you'd just buy your wife.
We go
milk
to
rolls?
M&S, yeah, and we get the buns from there.
Not just any buns.
Right, I've
Japanese milk buns.
I've just realised we need to be showing the masses our full costumes, really, don't we? So do you want to stand up and give them a twirl?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I know we can sort of
Have you got a tail?
see you.
I don't know. Have I?
I've got a what?
No, you
Tail.
haven't.
No. Just stand back towards the side so we can all see you. Woo! Are you going to do a Scooby Doo Doo?
No, you've got to.
Get back over there and do me a Scooby Dooby Doo. Nancy.
Scooby-Doo.
Pathetic Scooby Dooby Doo. Do you want to get up there?
I already sound like
Yeah.
Barry White. I can't do it anyway.
So have you got to crawl around and look for your glasses? Is that what you're saying?
No. No, because my are in there. So you're Shaggy.
Is that for the Patreon?
And it came with a wig, didn't it? But we looked at the wig and decided that Jim didn't look like a Pomeranian. It's the worst wig I've ever seen in my life. But Ryan's about to rock it, aren't you, kid? Go on.
It looks like a fucking taxidermy.
It does look like it's been alive at some point. Oh my God.
Stuff.
You look quite good with the green in the background.
Do I?
Yeah. It looked like a bit of a BG on drugs.
Do you know what I should have done? Came as Michael Myers and just stood here.
Yeah, and just peeked around. Yeah.
Whole episode.
Yeah, you should have done. No. You look crazy with that wig sticking out over the screen now. Anyway, so that's Ryan as Shaggy, and obviously I'm Velma.
What in the
Jinkies.
fluff ball
God.
is that?
And I'm Jinky.
Oh, Mr. G.
So, that's the Scooby-Doo gang solving mysteries today. We have got a little bit of a mystery.
What are they?
But first of all, just a couple of things. I am going to give us some little Scooby-Doo facts, things that you won't know and things that are really quite interesting. Scenes with the Scooby-Doo gang, learn a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, all that. But first of all, before I do that, I just want to give a little mention to a guy called Tony Morell. He does a podcast called The Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast.
I was seeing that.
And it's a Liverpool-based podcast. He's got about 42, 43 episodes in the bag now. He's on YouTube and on all the other streaming services. And I was on there. I went on end of September. Actually went out on the 3rd of October, I think. And it was a warts and all kind of interview. And I said to him, look, am I allowed to say cunt, first of all, beforehand? And do you want the truth? Like, you know. Is this a sort of podcast like ours where it's not censored, it's
No
not
bullshit.
edited, we can
Unfiltered.
just say what we want, or do we need to filter it? I said, I'm not very good at filtering. And he went, no, say what you want. And he really did ask me everything. And we went into everything. It was a really, really interesting interview. Nice guy. And the podcast itself is all mainly about Scousers. And we tell our stories in our own little Scouse way that we do. And some of them aren't Scousers, but well-known people. But it's a really, really good podcast. So if you fancy just, listen to people chewing the fat over interesting stuff, then head on over. And I think I'm episode 40. Just, you can always jib off the rest of them. Just watch my one, really. But give them a follow, because I promised Tony that I'd say give them a follow. But no, I've watched loads of them now, and they're good. Really, really interesting people. Right then, so Scooby Doo facts. Do you know anything about Scooby Doo? Apart from the fact that it's like a gang of kids and a dog and a mystery machine.
I did think, is it based on something a bit more than just a cartoon?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
no.
is there-
But yeah, I mean, there's a story behind it.
That's
They've
what I was
built
thinking,
a
yeah.
thing behind it. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Scooby Doo. But before
We
I
should
do,
be
I'm
high.
just going to turn everybody off
should.
on
I should be.
Facebook. We are, hang on.
Missed the trick there.
So just some comments coming off. Because you're not looking. You're not even looking on Facebook. I'm doing it for you. all
They're
right?
all just
I
like
can't get on
Ryan's
it.
wig off.
The link hasn't come up.
Anyway,
Oh, on there.
Right then. Somebody's just called me
We
Velma
are.
the Dom. Right then. So I believe somebody's called you Einstein.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's not fucking me, is it?
I think you look
a
more like a
dog.
BG on drugs, personally.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch the rest, somebody said, what's the name? Oh, what's the name of the podcast? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast. So I'm going to shut you all off now. If you want to see more, head over to patreon.com/Pathersalt podcast. If not, you can see the rest of this on Thursday. Bye.
Oh, I've just got on it as well.
Too
No.
late. Right
Everyone
then,
just saying
you don't
bye.
know anything about Scooby-Doo?
Apart from, I've seen the films and the cartoon.
Okay.
Oh, the film.
So, there's stuff about Scooby-Doo that I didn't know anything about, and I've been a big fan. And when the kids were growing up, I watched all of the different variations of Scooby-Doo. There's been loads.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, who've been living in a tree and are probably wondering why the fuck we're sitting here looking like a dog and like a vagrant and some weird, like,
Stoner.
yeah, I don't know what I look
I feel
like.
like I've got one of them Russian
Just shouldn't be
hats
in a
on.
wig. So Scooby-Doo is the name of a cartoon show that started on the 13th of September 1969. And since then, it's had 12... What?
Ryan looks like you ordered Johnny Bravo from Wish.
Hey, sexy mama.
Oh my God. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Anyway, so Scooby-Doo started on the 13th of September 1969, and since then it's had more than a dozen different types of series. The original one was called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Do you remember the original tune? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Yeah. So I remember that. Obviously, I wasn't born in 1969, but when I was young, that was coming out on repeat. And that particular very first iteration of it had 2 seasons. I'm just going to carry on. She's hit a knobhead.
He's getting called Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. Right, do a Tina Turner impression then.
I was trying to.
Go on.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of one.
Simply the best.
Oh, I'm not.
You've got to get up and do the legs
No.
and all that. If you're going to do Tina Turner.
No. Next episode. Tune
Okay.
in.
You have to build yourself up for that one.
Yeah.
You never practice in the break.
I know.
Anyway, so Scooby-Doo's gone through loads of different variations over the years. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them. So the characters, Fred and Shaggy are supposed to be 17. Daphne is
Bollocks.
posh and loaded. She's 16. Velma's 15. I'm underage.
Not even legal.
Not even legal. Can I say cunt though if it's not legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay. And Scooby's 7. He's forever 7.
Oh.
So do you know what Shaggy's real name is?
No.
No? Anybody over there?
No idea.
His real name is Norville Rogers.
Norville.
Norville
Norville.
Rogers. And Shaggy's just a nickname.
Name, huh?
And he lives on his own. He's got a rich uncle that he inherits shit from, it says. And the most interesting fact about Shaggy is he's got a collection of 653 decorated belt buckles. But nobody ever sees them because they're always hanging underneath his baggy t-shirt.
Ah, yeah.
That's his little interesting fact.
It's close. I've got about 653
Daphne
masks.
is loaded. She comes from a wealthy family, and her dad, George Blake, apparently supported the gang's mystery detective agency, and he gave the gang a $100 check to start them off. All these little
$100 wouldn't get you far
backstories.
now, would it?
Yeah.
$100 back then, though. You know,
He's a big investor. Though.
Velma is saying obviously as jinkies,
Yeah.
but it wasn't always the case. It said that she'd typically just say, "Oh my." But it was a bit too boring when Shaggy's going zoinks all the time. So they created this Jinkies catchphrase for her. But one of the most iconic things that Velma does, which is what you hinted at before, she's always losing her glasses.
Yeah.
She's always dropping them. And that actually came from something that happened in real life. So the original voice actor, Nicola, I think it's either Jaffa or Yaffa. Her glasses actually fell off during the recording session. She was looking around for them, and the directors thought it was cute, so they kept it and made it like a Velmaism.
Oh,
Cute.
no way.
I think it's dead cute, that. And the other bit that they bring in with Velma is the other characters jump into her arms when they're scared.
Yeah.
And it looks funny because she's so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do for the photo.
Yeah.
You're not jumping into my arms, frig off.
Oh, Scoob in Shaggy's arms.
Scooby, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to photo
But
now.
it says here Velma, you jump into Velma's arms, you're not jumping into my arms.
Why?
Sounds-
Can we video it?
No,
Can we
my
video
back.
one try?
Fucking glass back here.
Okay, call me fat. It's okay.
Dirty dancing.
Oh my God. Oh, imagine you, Scooby, like that.
I was
Flying
trying
towards me.
that with someone at the staff party.
Did it work out okay?
No, it was fucking train wreck.
It never does. It's always a really good idea.
It was a train
The
wreck.
thing is, anything at a staff party, including alcohol, should not also include flying through the air.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. But
There's a bit of flying.
after about 2 litres of fireball, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Right, so Fred, bit of a scaredy cat if you remember Fred.
Totally.
He doesn't like going to the haunted places and always sends Shaggy and Scooby in. And he actually got his name, Fred, from the CBS head of children's programmes, Fred Silverman.
He always used to split up with Daphne as well, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
He's
that
fucking
comes up in a
creep.
minute.
Little playboy, isn't
But the
Fucking
guy
creep,
that
yeah.
did the voice for Fred did every single episode. There's like hundreds and hundreds.
No
and he
way.
voiced Fred in every single one except just one-off show. Yeah. Now, Scooby, do you know what Scooby's real name is?
No.
No?
No.
Can you guess?
Surely it's got to be Scooby.
It's Scoobert.
Scoobert?
I knew it was Scoobit.
His name
But I
is...
thought-
Why you fucking say it then?
Because I've heard Shaggy call him Scoobit, but I thought that might have just been a different nickname.
So when I said, do you know what his real name
Scoobert.
could be, didn't think of saying, is it Scoobert?
No.
Did you not want to look silly in front of the masses?
I was reading the comments and talking
were
about
you?
Fireball. I was distracted.
Right. So his real name is Scooby Doo, and he's a triplet. And from the same litter, his two other siblings are called Skippy Doo and Dooby Doo.
Doobie-doo.
Doobie-doobie-doo.
And he's also got three other siblings from another litter called Yabba-Doo, Howdy-Doo, and Ruby-Doo.
Yabba-doo, the Flintstones.
Yabba-dabba-doo.
Well, Hanna-Barbera are the same company that made both programs. Yeah.
My God, the Scooby-Doo
And
universe.
he's got a speech impediment. You've probably got onto it. He can't say his R's. He says W instead. Yeah. So like green
Reggie?
would be green, wouldn't it? It's called roticism. So he's got this thing, but it's like a lot of things they get him to say would actually pronounce that more. So it's like, why are you doing that? Wouldn't go out now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's in the Guinness World Book of Records. On its 350th episode, it was the longest running animated comedy of all time. And at the time, it surpassed The Simpsons. The Simpsons has obviously gone past that now. And Tom and Jerry as well. Tom and Jerry had 209 episodes.
Tom and Jerry was unreal.
And Scooby-Doo was never meant to be the main character. He was only supposed to be like the little sidekick. The meddling kids were supposed to be like the main crew.
Yeah.
But with his little scaredy cat antics and his Scooby snacks and his voice, it was a huge hit and everybody loved him. And so in the end, he was brought forward as the main character.
Amazing.
I think the original show was something like, it's going to be called Who's Scared? Something like that,
Yeah.
not Scooby-Doo. And so when obviously Scooby came into it and became the main character, they called it Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And the template of having like a character and then like a gang of kids, that started off loads of other programs. Do you remember Captain Caveman?
Yeah.
Do you remember Captain Caveman?
Yeah.
No.
No. Little caveman guy. And he used to have like a baton. And he used to go, Captain Caveman! Like that.
Oh, he used to fly with his little bat.
Yeah, it was boss. And he used to have a little
Maybe.
gang of kids and he used
I
to
don't
go
think
and
I've ever
like...
watched it. Yeah, maybe.
Well, that was
I've
another
seen it.
Hanna-Barbera one. All
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera, yeah. That fucking Captain
There he
Caveman's
is.
going to be a reel now, innit? Yeah, there he is. It was brilliant.
Looks like me when I'm with his shave.
It was really, really good. And the Teen
that way
Angels
a
were
bit
his little
longer.
gang. Okay, so as she said before, Fred and Daphne were always going off together. I think they were just having little danger fucks, personally.
I think so.
Yeah,
Little
do you think
scaredy
they had little
fucks.
danger fucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the meddling kids might come around the corner at any point, just give me a little quick blowy.
Yeah. Or the nonce were chasing might be in there. All the villains were.
But apparently this was done on purpose. It wasn't just like, you know, Fred and Daphne just gone off for a little cheeky wank. What they said was, saw me bits on the microphone, I'm so sorry. I'm leaving bits of myself on the microphone. Apparently this was done on purpose because they just didn't think Fred and Daphne were interested enough.
Oh, okay.
And so they did the whole split up on look for clues. And so then the focus would be on Shaggy, Scooby and Velma.
Yeah.
Because they were like the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're just going off for shags, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. Right, the name
bang,
Scooby-Doo, came from, you keep having your own little conversations. I'm going to test you on this later.
Oh, shit.
Yeah?
Okay.
I can't take you seriously in that work, mate. Stay in
It's
the
like
minute,
coming off him.
Right,
I know, I'm shedding.
the name Scooby-Doo, it came from a Frank Sinatra song. The Fred Silverman guy that I was telling you about before, he's on a flight, and his idea of the gang was backheeled by CBS. Like, it's a bit shit, mate. You need to improve on it.
Yeah.
So he's a bit down on the plane, and he's like, how am I going to sell this now to the gang? You know, I think it's a great idea. Anyway, as he was getting off the plane, Strangers in the Night came on. I mean, it was a long time ago. You wouldn't get Strangers in the Night now. But if you don't know the song, it's Strangers in the Night, and he goes, Scooby Dooby Doo, doo 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 doo. Yeah, it's actually Dooby Dooby Doo.
Yeah.
But everyone says Scooby Dooby Doo. And in that moment, he went, Scooby Doo? That's a great name. And that's where Scooby Doo came from the Frank Sinatra song. Yeah. Fred and Daphne are a real couple in real life.
Are they?
Yeah. So it was actually the couple that played them in the film. So Sarah Michelle Gellar was Daphne, and somebody called Freddie Prinze Jr. Was Freddie. But they actually met in the 90s and then starred together as Fred and Daphne in the film. So they're a real life couple
No
and still
way.
are now. Loads of celebrities have starred in it. And at the time, Scooby-Doo was like really, really popular. And people have fallen out themselves to be a voice on the show. I mean, some of these you might not recognise now.
Yeah.
But Mama Cass was in it from Mama and the Papas. Dick Van Dyke. You know Dick Van Dyke, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I see, I'll look at
Do
you.
you actually?
It's just
I've
not.
heard
He
the
just
name.
says yeah.
I've heard the name.
Mary Poppins, Dick Van Dyke
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
roof.
yeah.
Yeah, with his
I know.
terrible,
Yeah.
terrible jarg London accent.
That's the worst, isn't it?
Yeah. And have you heard of Vincent Price?
No.
Oh, you know Vincent Price. Vincent Price in loads of horror movies, Hammer House horror movies
Okay,
years ago,
yeah.
right? But you'll know him as the voice of the sinister person in Thriller that does the talking bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorise your neighbourhood. I used to know all the words of that. I'm not going to do it now because I'll fuck it up. But Vincent Price did that. He was the voice in Thriller. You're looking at me like I'm a tit. Do you remember that?
You look like a tit.
Well, thank you very much. Have you seen yourself in that fucking TV? You cheeky bastard. Anyway, so Vincent Price was on the show, and his name in the show was Vincent Van Gogh.
I think I remember that more than anything else.
I remember the character. I remember seeing
Yeah.
I actually looked like Vincent Price as well. There's a few other things, but the one thing that I really loved about this, there's a woman in her own mystery van got into trouble with the police in 2016. So her name, I've got a picture, actually.
Yes.
I think you've got it as Sharon K. Truman van or mystery van or fucking
Yes,
something.
please.
There's a mystery machine somewhere around the world. If you've ever seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it around, yeah. There
That's
you
the
go.
one.
That is
So
amazing.
she's got a 1994 Chrysler Town and Country minivan, and she did it out just to look like a mystery machine. But in 2016, she was once on suspicion of violating her parole, and the police attempted to pull her over. But she thought, fuck it, slammed on the gas and led them on a massive high-speed chase
Good
through
girl.
Redding, California. She was obviously emulating the characters. And she's like, fuck it. I'm off. Come and chase me.
Yeah.
But
It's not very inconspicuous, is it?
But
She's
Levi
trying to
Salada
avoid-
from the local police station who was chasing her told the Los Angeles Times, "You can't really get caught up in a cartoon because it's a serious business." He was not amused at
No.
all. No. And finally, despite its popularity and all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, the show has only ever been nominated for 2 awards. One was a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Performance in Animated Programmes and something else I can't remember. Something to do with Velma. But they only got 2 awards in all that time.
It's mad that considering how long it's been running. Is it still on now or have they stopped making episodes?
So there's actually a picture that I'm going to ask Dylan to flash up now. There's DC Comics have decided to revamp Scooby-Doo. And they are now an apocalyptic detective gang. Here they are.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
No.
There you go. I don't like it either.
Shaggy's 2 grooms.
Look at his curly moustache. So for those who aren't watching, just look up
does
DC
Velma look so
Comics
angry?
Scooby Apocalypse #1, and you'll see the picture. Shaggy's got like a curly moustache and an actual normal hairdo and
I
beard.
know.
It's got tattoo sleeves, though.
And Scooby's got like some cyber dog thing going on over his eye, and Fred's got like some kind of infrared kind of, don't know, futuristic
Ray guns.
phaser, laser gun. Yeah.
Do you know who
don't
could
like
pull
it.
off that version of Shaggy?
You could pull it off.
No.
Oh.
Sid.
Sid could, yeah.
Maybe it was
Long colour hair.
Ginge.
Yeah. So I don't like. And what do you think about that? Being,
No, I don't like
you're
that.
into comics and things,
I
aren't you?
do. I quite like that, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's a different spin because there's been so many variations of the Scooby-Doo characters that have all been quite similar. I quite like that they've thrown
It's
up.
given like the Impossibles.
And like Shaggy's got
Yeah.
tattoos,
Yeah.
and Fred, obviously.
I feel like Shaggy should have tattoos.
I mean, in apparently in the original idea, Velma was supposed to be a lesbian, and in the film, the 2002 film, they did and Shaggy was supposed to be a stoner. But in the film in 2002, apparently, they put scenes in there, but when they watched it back to do the editing, they were like, do you know what? We don't need to throw it out there in people's faces that Velma's gay.
Yeah.
And I think everyone knows that Scooby's a stoner without him actually smoking a spliff. And
That's why
having
you always
red
need
eyes.
Scooby snacks.
Yeah.
Well,
Munchies.
that is apparently why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
We
always
should've got
stoned,
stoned
so he's
first.
always on the Scooby snacks. And that's why he wears a belt buckle. Because of all of his Scooby snacks, he had to lose loads of weight. And the belt buckles that he wears keeps his pants up. So there you go. I love that. There's this whole sort of backstory to it all. And all these
Scooby-Doo
little
lore.
facts and where the Scooby-Doo name came from and all that. And for those that are same generation as me, you would have grew up with these TV series as they came on. Remember Scooby and Scrappy coming on about 1983, I think. And I loved it. And then when our kids were born, the new Scoobies came out, so all the old ones coming out. And I think I've watched every single one about 100 times because our dad was obsessed.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I was
obsessed.
when I was a kid.
Yeah. Right, let's go on to a little dangly bit because I want to do our next bit. It's a very quick dangly bit. It's a silly one. Somebody sent me something. I need to burp. Excuse me. Somebody sent me something.
Too many Scooby snacks.
Oh.
And we're going to use these. You're not drinking.
It's a fireball.
No.
Fuck's
You've had
sake.
enough Fireball. While
is
I'm getting my
shit.
bitch, would you like to tell the masses what you were doing last night?
I was drinking shots of Fireball at home.
Because you never drink Fireball, do you?
No.
I would
Okay,
never.
So I've been sent these by a fan.
Okay.
Okay. And when I give you them, I want you to look at the little faces. Okay. Okay, so these,
Oh.
they're like, okay, so they're like little mini turds. Yeah. And they've got a little face. So I'm going to just do this so Dylan can zoom in if he needs to when he's actually doing the editing. But it's got a little angry face. And do you know why it's angry?
Because it looks like me.
No, because it knows I'm going to do that. Well,
Oh my god.
fucking hell, that's just me glasses. Good job, that got me glasses. Right, that's it, little gobshite. Touch myself. I'm shit. Right. I was gonna get the cups and we could like flick the cups. I'm just gonna have a fight with you now, you little shit. Yeah. They stick.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
My
So you
nail's
get
just
your-
going to split it in half.
It won't, because I've got nails as well.
Mine are fucking
You
pointy.
stick your nail in like that. Nancy has just fired that at our producer.
That was perfect.
I apologise. I'm so sorry. Fucking hell! Yes! Right! Please tell me. Wait, you have to go back on that at some point.
Have we got your nipple?
I got Ryan right on his nose. That was the perfect shot. So, I'll give us your nipple. Let's have a little go if we can get it.
Oh, fucking hell. Hang on.
Oh, nearly.
Oh, you got to put some power on it.
Stand up again. Oh,
Oh,
So-
no, look, my nails putting holes
These are
in them.
amazing.
So I have had no end of fun with these. I was gonna like hit them off the desk, but this is much more fun.
No, this is way better.
So, Daniela, ow! Thank you so much for sending these flying shits to us because they're just absolutely perfect. Ooh.
Mate,
And I think-
I think I'm going to pass out.
Why don't you just undo yourself?
Because
Oh, as if you haven't seen your tits before. For God's sake, get them out.
Where did you were wearing it before?
What I was gonna do.
Robbie
Yeah,
Waits.
yeah.
What I was gonna do. I was gonna get those little targets.
Yeah.
And like put one there. You know the splatter targets. That
I've
when
got
you hit them,
targets.
they go. Yeah. Do you know what? You're not showing nipple. Yeah. Show the masses your little. Get the microphone out the way because we can't see.
The computer's in the way also. It's fine. We got it.
There you
There
go.
we are.
So that's Nancy's little web tattoo.
Give me a
Not so
lift.
little. Oh!
That was nice. Do it again.
Do you know, this is what it's like when you do a podcast with a load of masochists and sadists. Fucking hell.
Kids.
Yeah. Masochists.
Massacres.
I think we've got
Is that
a
a
new
bit weird?
t-shirt.
Do you reckon I have like an open caption in your mouth?
Did you hear that clunk?
It's Halloween there, mate. Fucking hell. Right, anyway.
Right.
Put them on there. Fucking hell.
Shout Jacob out and we'll just...
Oh, right. You would appreciate that if we all fight at the same time. Okay, we won't do that. You'll charge me double. Right, thank you very much. So for those
Right, and
who
the
weren't
schnoz.
watching, you need to go and watch even just the little dangly bit because we've just been firing shit at each other. You know what it's like on here? We like firing shit round. So I'm going to go on to my next bit. And while I do that, you can compose yourselves. So my next bit is we're going to solve a mystery. Because, you know, we are the Scooby Doo gang. Fucking hell, Dance.
Oh, mate.
If you got boob sweat,
Yeah. Flush, love.
get some bog roll and give your boobs a little wipe. I bet you don't hear that in the podcast very often, do you? It's like smeg. We say smeg far too often on this podcast. I've got to say, your boobs look very nice today. You're going on the sunbed because you've got nice brown boobers.
I have been, yeah, before I go on holiday.
Very nice. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was a little lesbian moment there.
This is cutting
Do you want to take your wig off, mate? Oh my God, how tight was that?
It's tight. Oh my god.
That's what he said.
Right then. So,
Fucking stretch it.
just before I move on, can anybody just have a quick look at YouTube for me? I'm just going to do this fucking podcast on my own. Right. Have a little look on YouTube, see if anybody's making any comments. Oh yeah, Sharon said Captain Caveman's boss. It is.
Charles said you should get the baton on Ryan for hitting you. Lots
I
of
got
love
it
for
back out.
Dylan's laugh.
Yeah.
I hung in my wig. They're going to find loads of little shits everywhere when we leave later, you know.
For weeks.
Vicky and the Massa Kids.
Yeah, definitely. Vicky and the Massa Kids.
Lorna said you've got a big head.
So, oh God.
Yeah, as Laura,
Even
you
wearing
should see
socks
it.
is hot. So I'm going to tell you a little story while these just fuck round in the background. Honest to God.
No, Lorna said... Nearly injected that. Lorna said he's got a big head.
It's gone feral.
And I said, he has, Lorna, you should see it.
What first-hand experience. Right. Anyway, let's get on with this. Whew. So we've gone from...
That
was close range.
to the eyeball.
Right, we
Right,
need
wait,
to crack on. We're going out of time. Honestly. Right. You ready?
Yes.
Maria said I love the dog with a smoker's cough.
They said, you're lucky I'm here, I'm so poorly.
Right, she's so full of bullshit. So she is poorly. But the reason why she wasn't nearly here today is because she was necking fucking Fireball last night
I was
on top
definitely
of a
coming.
cold, on top of Halloween.
I thought it might kill the cold.
Oh, that's
And it was
better.
from my birthday.
Yeah, how did that
so-
work out for you? That better?
Right, I think you've got a comb over.
You've got a comb over now. Yeah. Anyway, right, I need to start.
Okay, go.
We need to create a mood. This is serious. Okay. This is a proper
Right,
mystery
so
that we're going to solve.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm
Are we all ready in the background?
Ready.
Okay. I've got to try and do this seriously whilst looking at you now with a comb over and use your tits out. Honest to God.
Look like Pennywise.
Okay. So, everybody ready in the background to solve this mystery?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about a lady called Diane. She was 34. And in the spring of 1990, she'd get up on most days really, really early. She had to be in work for 4:30 in the morning because she read the news as an anchorman on a local TV station.
Okay, yeah.
Little local TV station. And she was dead confident, dressed smart, in the latest fashion. She really cared about how she looked. And obviously she's on TV all the time. So she wanted to look her best, unlike us.
What do you mean?
Here like this.
Hello.
You've got your best bra on today for this
I haven't even
show.
got a bra on. I've just got a bit of material.
So every day she got up at 4:30. Oh, sorry, early to get in for 4:30. And her husband, Brad, who was 43, he was really doted on her and got up every day with her, made her a favourite breakfast. And she had a little boy as well called Marla, who'd also be up with them, obviously, having his breakfast. And she just thought she had a perfect little life. She loved where she lived. She lived on this farm with loads and loads of land and barns and stuff. Even though she didn't tend the land, she always wanted to live on a farm. And she just loved where she lived. And her husband, he only worked part-time as a criminal justice professor. He was also an ex-police officer, but he was really into the criminal justice side. So he only worked part-time because of her demanding job. He stayed at home when he wasn't at work, tended to the kids, the house, doing the washing, the ironing, all that kind of thing. And he loved it. His friends jokingly called him Mrs. Diane. I'm not going to say the surname because it'll give it away. Well, it might do. People might look it up. Not you, obviously. So he was really happy to support her in her career. She was a really career-minded. I think she was probably the main breadwinner as well. And Eve, despite all the skitting, he loved his little life with her. Anyway, on this particular day, she was leaving to go to the TV station. She just had a big hearty breakfast. She was pregnant with their second child, so she was always hungry. And Brad always made her favourite breakfast in the morning. And while she was standing outside, admiring her house and her land, she was like, I've really loved my little life and I really can't wait to bring my new child, I should know what it was at the time, into the world. It took about 20 minutes to get into work. And once she got there, she'd read through scripts. She'd then anchor the show. And then her and the rest of the team would report and record some future segments to be used at a later date. She was a really, really hard worker and a perfectionist. Some of her colleagues didn't like that, but the public loved her in her local area, really, really loved her. And her life really did seem to be going well. But one day, all that changed. I'd started with a phone call on a landline. So you've got to appreciate this is 1990, so there wasn't mobile phones. If there was, they were like brick things. They weren't normal to have around.
Phone jacker.
So she'd have her landline and there wasn't like a caller ID or anything on it. And it was a personal line. So there was like a main switchboard line, but she gave her personal number up to friends, family, people that actually wanted to get in touch with her directly while she was in work. So she picked up the phone and there was a voice at the other end of the phone that she didn't recognise. And it was a really weird, like raspy, husky type voice and slurred. He sounded like he was 20s or 30s. It freaked her out, really, really freaked her out. She wasn't expecting it at all. He said that he was a fan and he'd been watching her on TV and wanted some tips about breaking into the business. Anyway, despite her being freaked out, she wished him luck, gave him the advice that he wanted, and then rung off. And hopefully she thought that would be the last she'd hear from him. But actually it wasn't. He called all the time and pestered her. It began like 3-4 times a week and then escalated and escalated. And because a phone didn't have caller ID, she couldn't not answer the phone because it could be anybody.
Yeah.
So she kept catching him all the time. Anyway, she grew increasingly suspicious because he kept asking questions about a career in TV and stuff. Then the questions became just not relevant at all. And it was almost like he was making excuses to call her and hear her voice. So the more she spoke to this guy, the more freaked out she was. And there'd been like an increase of celebrities being stalked and one person actually being shot on their doorstep. Wow. So it really started worrying her. So and there's like no local laws at the time about stalking. So Diane was really quite worried and started asking her friends in the office about it. What do you think about this? This call keeps coming through. And they'd noticed that she was starting to get increasingly upset when she answered the phone, or increasingly nervous, and that wasn't like her. She was really quite confident. Anyway, her friends gave her loads of mixed reactions and suggestions, and like a load of good they were. So she turned to Brad because her husband, because he's a criminal justice professor, ex-police officer, he thought he's like the voice of reason. He's really clear-headed. Anyway, when she told him that this person had been harassing her for ages by this point, a long time, and he went, "Why did you tell me? And what the fuck? Basically, why isn't somebody doing something about this?" He was fuming. He went to the TV station, and nobody could give any answers of how this person kept getting through. So they figured out like a system whereby any direct calls to her phone would ping back to the switchboard. The switchboard would vet them and then only put calls through that weren't from this guy. And it worked great for a little while. And then one day, somehow, the caller got through. And he was obviously pissed off because he'd been trying for months. Yeah. And he was getting blocked. On this particular day, she picked up the phone, not expecting it to be him. And the voice said, "Why?" "Hello, Diane," in like a really macabre voice. And she fucking shit herself. She was really frightened. Such a shock because she wasn't expecting it. Before she put the phone down, he quickly said he liked the way she looked today and would she like to go for lunch? And he'd like to meet her in person. She stammered and she was like, and politely said no. She was still trying to be polite and put the phone down. But the whole newsroom was watching her because she was sobbing by this point. She was really, really upset. Anyway, when she told Brad, he was fuming. He's like, "How the fuck have they got through again?" Mm. So by this point, she'd already, because she was pregnant, she'd already been thinking about maybe leaving work. She'd already had a 2-year-old child. She'd been an anchorman for years, getting up early. And she was missing out on some of the time with her child. So with the second one coming along, she was thinking about leaving work and just being a stay-at-home mum, which would mean obviously Brad then being the main breadwinner. Thank you. And fucking hell.
Wow. That was a big one.
It's a large one.
And then after all this stalking, basically, she was thinking much more seriously about leaving. She was like, "Do you know what? I think the time's come." She was really starting to get concerned. Anyway, this all came to a dramatic crescendo on the 30th of October, 1990. This was about 5 months after the first fan phone call. Brad had to stay and work late this particular day, and she would have to then take on the parenting duties, which wouldn't normally be a problem, but she was 8 months pregnant. She was tired. She was hormonal. She'd been in work all day. She was a bit like, "Oh, I don't really want to do this." But she did. Anyway, she'd pick the kids up. It'd be absolutely fine. When she got home, the Marla was in the back of the car. Obviously, she's still pregnant with the other one. She stopped at the mailbox, couldn't be arsed getting out, too big and heavy. Pulled the stuff out the mailbox, put it on the lap, and drove to the house. When she got to the house, she opened her mail, and there was one particular letter that was really distinctive. It was a white letter with no stamp on it. It hadn't been posted. It had been hand posted in the mailbox. And when she opened it, there'd been like magazine clippings cut up, and it basically sent her a little message on the inside. And it basically said, "You should have gone to lunch with me." So she knew straight away that it was her stalker. Yeah. So she fucking shit herself. So the first thing she did was slam the car in reverse, got herself out of there with the kid, and went to her friend's house, Cindy. And Cindy was one of the first people that she confided in when this all started happening. And as soon as Cindy opened the door, literally Diane just threw herself at her, sobbing, threw herself into her arms. She had the kids as well. And Cindy was like, "What the hell's going on?" Anyway, eventually got her out of it, and Cindy just called the police. So she explained, police came round straight away. They said they'd escort Diane back home. And when they got there, they looked around the grounds and everything because they thought, well, if the letter's being posted, the person could still be around. Didn't find anybody. But Diane was not happy to be in the house on her own. As I said, Brad was working late. He was on his way back. So she went back to Cindy's, escorted by the police again, waiting for Brad. Anyway, after this, she was really nervous about going out. And they fitted security cameras, motion cameras. They got a dog. The local community came together to support them because, like I said before, she was really well liked in the community as a TV anchor. They all rallied round her, but it wasn't enough for her to feel safe. So she stopped going out. She'd only go to work, and Brad would see her out the door to her car. They arranged for someone to be at the TV station to meet her at the car to get her into work, and then the same would happen in reverse. And if it got cold, in the winter time, and it was too cold for Brad to stay outside with her, waiting for her to come home, the signal was he'd leave a light on in a certain place. And if the light was on, he was in, and it was safer to go in. If it wasn't, he wasn't home, and she'd have to call a neighbour, and the neighbour would come and meet her instead. This is how bad it got with the stalking. This guy was just properly stalking her. Even the police got involved, and they couldn't figure out who it was. Anyway, all this made her feel really isolated, and a baby girl was born. And she thought, you know what, enough's enough. And she got in touch with her family again, who lived in Detroit a couple of hours away, and reconnected with them. Because she was so busy, she just sort of lost touch with them a little bit. She hadn't fallen out, she just wasn't getting in touch with them quite so often. But now she's a new mum, and she had a sister who had kids, and obviously a mum had kids. She reconnected, and they were talking about parenthood, and it was really, really nice for her to have that connection outside of this bubble that she'd created for herself, this jail almost. And her mum convinced her to bring the kids over to Detroit, and she made a 2-hour journey to go over there, which was a really big thing for her. Again, Brad saw her into the car, she'd drive over there, she wouldn't stop, and at the other end, somebody'd get her out. She did feel like she was being watched all the time, though, and especially that she knew that they knew where she lived. Every time she walked out the house, she was looking over her shoulder. Anyway, in late 1990, early 1991, every few weeks, Dan and the 2 kids would go to Detroit. It was a really regular thing for them. They really started to enjoy it, and it felt like a bit of escapism for her. But one night, on Saturday, February the 9th, 1991, Diane and the kids were returning from Detroit. When she got home, she saw the sight of the mailbox, and it still got her heckles up. It still terrified her, even though it had been a little while since she got that letter. The light was on in the house, so she knew everything was safe to go in. But it wasn't safe, and Brad wasn't there. 30 minutes later, a call came into the police department from Brad, who was hysterical and could barely talk. He eventually told them that he'd just found his wife. He just got in from a walk, found his wife face down the driveway, covered in blood, and it was pouring from her mouth. When the police arrived, they saw Brad was just pacing, sobbing, hysterical, couldn't touch her. And the kids were still in the car. He hadn't got the kids out of the car. And he said the reason why he didn't get the kids out of the car was because he's ex-cop, criminal justice guy. He said that by touching the car door or even going near the car would contaminate the crime scene. So it was like really hurting him to not go to his children. He really wants to get his children out the car and just hug them because they'd seen this. The 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, even though they might not remember the memory, it would still be there. So he couldn't go to them. Anyway, the responding officer who was first on the scene knew straight away that Diane was dead. She'd suffered a bullet wound to the chest, which they later found was the fatal wound. She would have died within 3 minutes. And she received another bullet wound to her abdomen. So the police officer, when he touched her, she was still warm. And so he thought he could still be local. And this guy jumped into action straight away and got police dogs on the scene within minutes. And the police dogs were tracking. And this one particular dog, I can't remember the dog's name, it's a dead cute name.
Scoob.
Let's call him Scoob.
Yeah.
Tracked into the woods and fields across from the house. Got to a certain place where like this creek was, and then just came back. And the handler assumed that the dog had lost the scent and just disregarded it. But the dog got that far anyway, so that became like an area where they would search. Actually, they'd find out later on when they found out what happened to Diane, that the dog didn't lose the scent at all. It was simply following the scent, which took the dog back to the house. That night, the killer was standing right outside the house amongst the police and onlookers to the scene. After being arrested for Diane's murder, the killer did not confess to the final moments. So we don't actually know the specific details of, exactly when she was shot and all the rest of it. But with key interviews and a shit ton of evidence that was at the scene, they did put together what happened, and somebody was charged for the murder. But we're not going to find out who that is until next week.
Ooh.
It's a mystery.
What a bombshell.
What a bombshell.
So we're going to find out next week. So you can have a little think about it. And you're not actually going to see this until next week. We're going to record it in a minute, so you're gonna find out.
I think someone knows this story. The dog's name was Travis. Is that right?
Okay, I'm not going to say nothing. So if you do know the story, try not to share it in the comments because it'll spoil it for everybody else. But there's still, even if you do know, there's things around which just make you go, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so we're going to leave that story there and we're going to pick up. It's like going to be a part 2 in next week's episode. So we're going to leave you on that bombshell. Well, I'm not. I'm going to give you a Fetish Factoid first.
Oh.
But I just want to compose myself just for a minute because we've just been talking about a lady who's just been, not just, but she was killed and murdered and she was a mother. So I'm just going to take a beat just before I go on to me crazy Fetish Factoid. It would not be appropriate. Quick slurp. Hold the line. Thank you for the sound effects. So we've got a couple of minutes. I've had a Scooby snack. Have you had a Scooby snack?
Yeah.
Have you? Are they nice?
Yeah, it's like shit, cheap chocolate, and I really like it.
Cheap
Do
chocolate.
you like shit?
You know, like
shit
advent
the
calendars
money
when you're a kid.
Like the chocolate money?
Yeah.
Ew, that's horrible.
When I was
They just
working,
taste chemically. I'll try one I've got a Shag and Scoop one.
when I was working at Renault, they used to drop off an advent calendar from the finance company. It was the shittest chocolate ever, and we'd all just rip them open and just have them in one sitting. Boss.
Right then. Oh, this is one of these coins that you got to like try and peel the sides off. It's not an easy one to open.
Do you want me to open it for you?
I am not a geriatric, yes. I don't need my nursing home, and you haven't got to chew it for me first either. Thank you. But I might need a bit of a...
Do you want me to baby bird it into your mouth?
No, look, it's open. That's all it took to open it. Fine. Right then. So, Fetish Factoid. Now, I'm going to say we are into some weird shit. Kinky shit.
I think you can say we.
I am into some weird shit. I've got to be honest. I'm not going to say what they are because Jim at this moment is holding his head in his hands going, don't you fucking dare. But excluding scat and piss.
Yeah.
Is there a fetish which might make you go, oh,
Confession time.
Go on.
I like a bit of piss play.
Do you? Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. So excluding that though, because I'd say people would naturally go to scat or piss if you think of extreme stuff. But to be fair, piss play in our scene's not that extreme. It's not.
No.
But for people out there, it might be. But from our point of view, is there something that would make you go, oh God, no. Oh no. No.
I don't know. Questions like this, I can never...
I don't mean BDSM,
Mine
sexual.
is anything to do with nails.
Okay, that's interesting. Not for this time. But.
Like in a BDSM way.
Like scratching.
So this isn't
No, I mean,
BDSM,
like-
this is
going under
sexual.
your nails.
This is sexual. So my thing,
Sexual, I'm an open book.
I've said it before, literally just before. My thing, which would make me just run away forever, is smeg. And there's a smeg fetish.
No, there's not.
There is.
Oh.
There is. I'm sorry. And Dylan has now got his head on the desk.
Happy Monday.
Okay.
Cordelia, do you know what smeg is?
Okay. The real word is smegma, which is no better.
Smegma.
For those that don't know, it's basically a build-up of oils, skin cells.
Cheese.
It smells like cheese. If you've
like
ejaculated and you haven't polished your helmet properly afterwards, that might also cause a build-up of smeg. It's just one of them words that you just go...
Feels dirty saying it, doesn't it?
It's just... It's the one word which sounds like it smells and looks.
Your penis
doesn't
curd.
it? And for those that don't know, it smells a bit cheesy. It's white. It's not cottage cheesy. It's more like Philadelphia.
Oh, fucking hell, I love Philadelphia.
Do you? Full
Not
fat?
anymore.
Do you want a bit?
Right.
Give me a cracker.
No!
Tapas.
Dip it in.
Oh my God.
Okay.
We joke, but...
So, it's stinky and it's thick. And there's some people that love it.
No, there's not.
There isn't even a word for this
Why?
fetish because there isn't a word that incorporates the word smeg as good as smeg. So it's smeg fetish. I'm going for the record of how many times you can say smeg on the podcast. So this is someone who's sexually aroused by the taste, smell, or look
It's making me
of
sweat.
smeg. on somebody's genitalia. And smeg can actually occur on males and females. And I can confirm that it does occur in females ex-midwife. I'm
glad you added that bit.
Ex-midwife, seen a few things. And believe it or not, there's whole forums dedicated to the worship of smeg.
No, there's not.
Do you know, someone sent me a message on Instagram that said, do you want to see my butter?
Yeah.
And peeled his foreskin back.
Oh!
Not the love.
No, I'm not going to say where this person was from.
Probably the Wirral.
No.
Birkenhead, gotta be there.
I'll tell you when we're not recording.
Okay.
I don't want to get told off.
Okay.
You can probably guess.
So would you prefer smeg butter or truffle butter?
Paste.
It's not good, is it?
No butter.
So there's whole forums
toast.
Forums dedicated to the worship of smeg. And somebody said, will eating smeg make me ill?
Oh.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
And there's people out there who don't wash for a while and will ejaculate or come. And if you're a female. And they'll leave it to build up the smeg because they're with somebody or are going to meet somebody who likes like the smeggier the better.
Oh,
Smeggier.
And they do actually. There's it's bad, but there's porn. There's porn out there. There's
Cream
porn
cheese and time.
where people are showing you what they do with the smeg. I'm not going to go into it because
No.
it's very early. And
I'm
it's not
okay
good.
with
Yeah.
that.
you
But I'll
research
tell you
that?
But what I want to do
But you'll humour.
is, it says here, will it make you ill? No. The likelihood is you'll have way more bacteria in your own mouth. However, if you're unsure, you can always swig a capful of mouthwash after any smeg play.
Oh, fucking hell.
Smeg a mouthwash.
It's like a Yakult.
Do you have it straight off the shaft, like?
Yakult.
Good enzymes.
So, if you're a man or a woman and you've noticed there's a little creamy build-up around your inner labia or around your bell end or, under your helmet or in your foreskin or whatever, it's not normal. It's not normal. This is like the BV public health announcement that I gave to everybody. Yeah. It's not normal. The smeg will not make you ill. But the reason you've got it is because you're not washing often enough. Have a fucking shower and use some soap. Because if you don't wash and you get a build of a smeg, then it means that there's a likelihood you're going to get other things like, UTIs, thrush, BV. And UTIs can lead to like kidney problems. So smeg itself is fine. No. It's not fine. It's not. It's not going to make you ill.
No one likes it.
No.
It's not going to make you ill. But it could lead to other things. So your kink could make you ill, is all I'm saying. But I know that those are into it are like, I don't care. I'm going to willing to take the chance. And if you're a taker, I tell you what, God, you're in some extreme shit is all I can say.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Yeah. I'm not kink shaming at all. I've tried not to kink shame.
No, like fair play to you, but not for me.
There was one video.
Your kink's not my
There was one video. That was a female.
You didn't watch it, did you?
I did.
Oh,
I had to for
dedication.
research.
That deserves a sub to the Patreon.
I always do. And she literally just went like that.
Oh! Like when you put your finger in the Nutella jar.
So on that smegma bombshell, we're gonna go straight into the next episode and we're gonna solve the mystery. But until then, if you're binge watching, put the kettle on. We'll see you in 5. If not, see you next week.
Lots of love.
Bye.
And there we have it. Another day made better by listening to the curators of chaos. Thanks for dropping by. And if you enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate you sharing the Love the Pattercell podcast with your friends. Don't forget to give us a follow on our socials, maybe some 5-star reviews, and feel free to send us an email to medic@thepattercellpodcast.co.uk or even interact with us on Facey, Insta and our other socials because we love chatting to you. Make sure you stop by next week because, as Bowie says, I don't know where I'm going next, but I promise it won't be boring. Catch you soon.